so there's a whole nother layer of research required that I'm going to be honest, like I don't even know where to start in regards to that. But in terms of this virus, like, yeah, I think that, virus, in regards to this bioweapon, I think it's been optimizing itself while in some sort of, like I said, about the same amount of intelligence at a high level as a dog or a cat, but when I look into why that is, I'm just like, so why would that be?
David, I digress. Yeah. I want to digress a little bit. I want to talk about, when you were in China and it originally the outbreak occurred, that you had mentioned to me on several occasions not only how it was being transmitted and targeted towards the men, specifically tobacco smokers, but also how there was like strange behaviors that were occurring. Also, because the reason why I mentioned this is because I posted an article to my blog about a strain that is affecting young men in the brain, and it seems to be debilitating or causing strokes. And I know that you had mentioned in one of our earlier podcasts about there being a nerve agent component. At some point,
that's the thing, is that what we're dealing with here is that because it's okay. So it's hiding in your basilia. What is it? Why is the name escaping me? God, I just had a conversation with somebody about it like 5 days ago. Anyway, the point is that it's using your gut, your bad gut flora to hide inside of, which is directly related to your candida. But the point is that everyone knows Candida produces a neurotoxin on a regular basis. And they're talking about, here's something that people are starting to mention now, and they're starting to reference it, but the term they're using to describe how I said it uses the other pathogens in your body to make itself stronger, the term they're using now is gaining function. Meanwhile, I'm like right near this nice shiny 5G tower smoking my cigarette. Shame on me. I'm getting off of it, folks. I'm working on it. So here's my point. In regards to it producing a neurotoxin, that's a byproduct of it gaining function. And the only way I can suggest right now that it's gaining that function specifically is because of, the bad gut flora. But let me be more specific. When they trained it on bats, and now listen, now it's getting to the point where what people are actually starting to say, even though the Chinese government is trying to clamp down on any sort of research information or paperwork in regards to it. Hold on one second. Any sort of research documentation in regards to what people find out about it is the fact that it's not just that, there's a dog. There's a tiger, which is a large cat, which recently got infected by it. And they were trying to say there was no potential for this to jump from animals to humans. But now people are hiding the fact. Listen, they're hiding the fact. The World Health Organization is hiding the fact that, hey, listen, because let me ask you a question. Google who owns and manufactures your dog and your cat food. Google who owns the companies that manufacture and or import your dog and your cat food, and now it comes out, even though they threw it right back up under the rug, but you can still find it if you look it up. COVID-19 will basically live. Your dog and your cats are, essentially super spreaders. Even though they may not die from it or get sick from it, they're still super spreaders. Not only that, here's something else to think about. If your dog and your cat, specifically your cat, because more people have cats than dogs, especially nowadays, more people have cats than dogs, we're looking at a situation here where basically here's what's going on. If more people have cats than dogs, especially in the inner cities, right, you're looking at a situation where this bioweapon has hardened itself and gained function from plasmotoxin, which is a common microorganism. It's a bacteria that lives in cats. One of the gains of function is the ability for this thing to produce, to take over the human brain, or to take over the brain of its host and get its host to be overly social. But not just overly social, trying to get out. So no one's going to have a conversation with you about how all these people who were infected coming out of China were not necessarily acting in a way where they were being malicious, but they were acting in a way where they're being mentally controlled by the virus. You get what I'm saying? So they were.
Well, that's another thing that I pointed out on my blog. That's another thing that I pointed out was, there was a viral story. There was a trend that went viral back. I think it was in March or February. I don't know if it was January, February, that I was, noticing, and I was posting to Social Media News Network, where people were, going into the grocery store and, picking up items like ice cream and licking it and putting it back, or taking things off the shelf and opening it and things like that. And there was a man here in Texas that actually got arrested for it. Another woman was detained for this, but there's been these sort of really weird social behaviors that have been observed. Not just people in grocery stores, but also like UPS delivery or Amazon delivery people licking boxes. There is like you said, there's like a gut-brain connection where it's taking over the behavior of the individual. And there is an urge. It appears that there is a dormant stage where they have an urge to socialize the bacteria.
It's so in a lot of ways, people are going to say, "Oh, well, I don't believe that," and I'm like, I don't care. I don't care what you believe. I don't care what you believe. I really don't care what you believe, because 90% of the people who are going to tell you something like that have not done anything more than read a headline that makes them feel empowered to keep staying asleep or keeping this sort of particular mental issue. Now, I'm not saying the lockdowns are good, but I'm saying there's an easy way to flatten the curve, and for some weird reason, the things that are required to flatten the curve, these people have been totally brainwashed by themselves. It's totally self-brainwashing. They've totally brainwashed themselves into thinking that none of the things that are scientifically proven will actually help you. Now it's coming out that there's fake studies about hydrochloroquine that are designed to fail, so you don't want to use it. Never mind the fact that there's a woman running around, African-American, politician, doesn't matter who, I'm sure you can find her, saying that she wanted Trump to be tried in The Hague for war crimes for being a science denier. And I'm thinking to myself, how can you, this is something I need everybody to understand. When a politician, and not just a politician, but a so-called expert, jumps up in front of you and starts saying, the science says this, ask them, demonstrate to me the theory. Does it have a math equation? Show me the math equation. Pretend I'm a 2-year-old and then explain it to me. Or a 5th grader. Pretend I'm a 5th grader and explain that theory to me if there's a mathematical equation or a statistic related to it. Or please quote the foremost authority from their personal paper on that subject that you're deriving your opinion from, or your statement from, and not a single one of them can do it. And the reason why is because all they're doing is trying to hammer you into a particular mindset based on talking points and sound bites and no actual scientific data, no scientific studies. And then they'll say something about, something is peer reviewed. Show me which peer group reviewed that. Show me a link. Give me a link to where however many scientists are willing to put their name on that. Oh, there's so many scientists or doctors who are signing this petition to say X, Y, Z, and the coronavirus is this or that, or this treatment is this or that. Show me. Don't, because again, we're dealing with people who think you're too stupid to go look for yourself. And you are stupid if you don't go look for yourself. Like, I'm looking at a page right now that's got over 12 different versions of bovine coronavirus vaccines, canine coronavirus vaccines. So what are you people talking about? What are you people talking about? Pictures, liner notes.
But it's not a corona. This is the thing, though.
That's what I'm trying to. That's what I'm trying.
Even a corona.
But that's what I'm trying to say, though. Is that it's a known fact, even though no.
The WHO originally lied about the original narrative. I mean, let's talk about the original narrative.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Before you say anything else, if you are still getting your information from the World Health Organization, you're a walking corpse and a super spreader at some point eventually, and I don't want to be anywhere near you because you're too dumb to be around people who are trying to survive.
Wait a second. Let's talk about this because there's a whole entire movement inspired. We've been
hardline about it, but I'm just done. I'm done. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I apologize.
I mean, there's two modes of thought. There's people that want to preserve their freedoms and rights, and they want to go out and protest.
Rightfully so.
And
rightfully so.
And yes, I don't necessarily disagree. However, you are putting yourself at risk because there is these behaviors. You're putting yourself at risk because these people that have the dormant phase of the virus do have a subconscious urge to socialize the virus, and I don't think that's something people understand.
I wouldn't say they have a subconscious. I would say they have a neurochemically triggered response to socialize the virus. And I will say this one time and one time only. Anyone who hasn't gone and looked for themselves and wants to quote to you sound bites and headlines and or talking points is more than likely going to get you killed.
Let's talk about COVID-19. I don't want to call it a virus anymore, but I want to ask you one important point because there is a huge problem. Okay, I'm gonna say this really quick, and I'm gonna just take over the show for just a minute. I talked about how they have been warring on the boys and men for quite some time. But not only that, our coast in California, China has been buying up a lot of the property. They not only influence our mainstream media and our entertainment industry, but they've been buying up a lot of the property in California, specifically, and hiking up the rental prices to the degree to where it has literally contrived homelessness in the greater Los Angeles area and San Francisco as well. And there's a huge feces problem. Okay. In San Francisco, in New York, and Los Angeles, there's a public problem with feces, and this COVID-19. You explained to me that it is socialized through feces, right?
Well, no, it can survive. Here's the thing. Now they're coming out and admitting to it. Okay, now they're coming out and admitting to it that it does have a 48-day period. This is what the actual research is showing. So we're talking about